Live from the studios of News Talk 1480 WHBC, it's Kenny and JT.
The program! That's how we're going to get it done!
He did say they were going to get it done, and they did get it done. State champions for Louisville. First time in basketball history. We were there. We witnessed it in Dayton, Ohio. Tom Siegfried and the Leps take care of business, and he's joining us today to tell everybody the big news that was released earlier this morning in a press release as he's decided to step down as the head basketball coach at Louisville. Coach, thanks for making time for us today. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm always willing to make time for you. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, how does this work? How does this work out? You go into the superintendent's office and say, whether or not you're on the hot seat or not, you go in and tell them, you can't fire me, I quit.
No, you know what? Maybe there's a lot of people that do that. Luckily for me, my players made it a lot easier for me to make it my decision, not someone else's. So, yeah, I met with my underclassmen this morning, and I've known for a few days that, this is probably going to be my decision, but we had our prom this weekend, so I didn't want to take any of that, kind of excitement away from all these young people, having so many of my players go there, including my son, and I wanted to wait till after that and kind of do it on a Monday, and hopefully it didn't get a lot of notice, but obviously that's tough in this day and age. So, yeah, I let people know this morning, thank yous, and I can truly say that it would never have been possible with every single part of what I call the program, which is the media, the sixth man, the community, the parents, the administration, the players, and the coaches. So, yeah, it's tough. There's no doubt, and it's going to be different, but I think this is what's best for me, my family, and also for Louisville basketball.
We do, too. And all kidding aside, you go out on top. It's like a Jim Brown, a Barry Sanders, a Jason Kelsey. You go out on top. You go out your way, and we couldn't be happier for you.
I appreciate that. And, it worked out that way. And, I would have had a big decision to make at the end of this year, regardless of the outcome of that game in Dayton. But, obviously my players getting it done there, it made it very, very special to go out on a win. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that it kind of feels weird. Usually in coaching and in sports, you're just used to things ending with a loss. And, this year, obviously that wasn't the case. And it'll be a lifelong memory. And I like to think of myself young. Maybe people don't think that, but I doubt it'll be the end of me coaching. But I will tell you for right now, it's going to be a little pause and enjoy the family and enjoy my son playing at Ashland.
Coach, I wasn't surprised by it. In talking to you right after you won the championship, there was a relief, the monkey off your back, but also the celebration. And then when I stepped back to think about everything you'd been through, I said, how the hell is he going to top this? He won the school's first ever state championship in basketball, his first ever state championship as a coach. He did so with his son, who's a senior. I mean, Coach, you really can't top that, can you?
No, I got to think. I haven't done the research, or nor will I, but I got to think I'm at a very select percent, probably less than 1%, that not only goes out as state champion, but does it with their son, who's a senior. In that dramatic of a format, there wasn't too much that we didn't see during that tournament run. Tight games, comeback wins, big leads that turned to very small leads, and all I can say now is I don't have to worry about having bad third quarters.
Oh, that's great. Tom Siegfried, our guest, I guess you say former head coach at Louisville with the basketball program. So what happens now, Coach? You tell them today, okay, it's official. I'm stepping down. Is there somebody in line? Are you going to recommend somebody? Is there a search that has already started? What's next for Louisville boys basketball?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to necessarily recommend anyone. I know there's a group of people that might be interested, that, you have all those people that, kind of right away, start thinking and asking, which is only natural because I do the same thing when openings happen. And I think that, it's a lot more complicated than, most average people not inside the school system understand. There's got to be, ideally a position teaching wise to get them into the district, because I know that's a huge part in today's world, just having them around the kids, especially at the high school level, as much as possible. So you have to look at open positions. You got to look at experience. You got to see how they fit in the community culture. All those things get factored in. Of course, I would love for my assistants or for past players, past coaches on my coaching tree, to get an opportunity or even want it. You never know. Sometimes individuals, might not want it. I have to call out this young man because, people started throwing around Michael Brown's name today, who's up at Hudson. And my response to them is, do you know how much more money Hudson makes than Louisville? Why would he want to come here? So, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So we'll see. We'll see, but I'm confident that our people will get the right person for the job, and I'm going to definitely be there for the, I guess you call it the transition team, to kind of get themselves going in the right direction, and hopefully it's a smooth transition.
Coach, I've got a bunch of ideas running through my head since I read this morning, and like Kenny said, we kind of had an idea that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
It comes down, A, join our program when you're not doing anything, but B,
for sure.
More importantly, I was always wondering this, and I should probably already know the answer, but I don't. Why did you choose basketball instead of baseball? You're a pretty decent baseball player. How did you figure it out?
So what's interesting is that basketball has always been my passion, but a 6-foot guard that has average shooting skills didn't transition into college. So my baseball, I was blessed to be able to throw a ball very, very fast. So, obviously I went Division I in baseball, and that was kind of my ticket for college to help me get through college. But when I got out, I coached baseball and basketball for many years together, actually 12 years together. And when it came time for a position to be filled in basketball, the baseball job was already filled. So I got hired as the replacement for Matt Miglich in 2007. The very next year, the baseball job came open. And I remember having a discussion with our athletic director, Rich Venuto, at the time, and he said, I totally understand if you want to take the baseball position or at least interview for it. And at that time, the senior class, which was Michael Brown, Chad Jimmy, and the Wilgus twins, would have had 3 coaches in 3 years. And I said, I just don't want to do that to kids. So I stayed. And my brother actually became the baseball coach that year. We actually went on and won a district title together. I stayed on as an assistant. And the rest is history. That same Michael Brown is now the head coach at Hudson. And, I couldn't be happier. I've always had a passion for basketball. It's a game that's really, really fun. It's very hard to learn and coach, and there's a lot of X's and O's in it. So I think it was just a challenge more than anything.
Coach, I had that same epiphany. 5'11" white guy who wasn't shooting well or handling the ball well at a Division III school playing basketball. Time to get into radio. Yep. I made the right choice. You made the right choice, with baseball and getting your school paid for and everything, and it's worked out very well. Did you ever think, now that it's over and done with, okay, we can throw these tougher questions your way, Tom Siegfried, all right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So 17 years, you're entering year 18 with all the pressure on you to win because you got all these kids coming back. Did you ever think that at some point that this wasn't going to happen, that it just wasn't in the cards, or did you not let yourself think that, especially in this last season?
I think the best answer to that is I just didn't let myself think about either or. Even down 11 to Garfield Heights, a lot of people have asked me, like, what was going through your mind? And the truth of it is nothing. I was just coaching in the moment. I think that's, kind of the trick. Because when you feel tight, when you feel pressure and stress, I think your kids can read into that. And I really this year came in with expectations of, even if we didn't win state, it was going to be a tough decision for me at the end of the year. And, I wanted to make sure that I did everything possible not to create excuses. So when I was going through the whole, 1 of 7, 2 of 7, it really was just a mindset of, we're not going to accept anything less. And, God forbid that we didn't win state. It is what it is. But we weren't going to allow ourselves to think that way. And I think the kids really bought into it, and they're ultimately the ones that got it done. So, yeah, there was a lot of pressure. And I guess deep down, I would be lying if I didn't say there was times during the year that, you come back 5-4 from the San Diego trip. It didn't really look like we were the odds-on favorite to win the state. But then as we started going down, I think that Ignatius game at home really made me sit back and go, okay, this could happen, because that was a team that was favored for D1 at that time. So I'm just happy with the way that it ended.
Tom Siegfried, our guest, and he has decided to step aside as the head coach with Louisville. And, Coach, how much of this deals with your son, Bo, playing at Ashland?
A large amount. I, once again, would be lying if I didn't say that. I don't want to miss anything that he does at the next level. And, I'm very, very thankful that he's in such a great program and as Ashland. And I've met a lot of the recruits' families over the last couple of weeks that are coming in with them. And, man, we really lucked out. There's just a really good situation going on there. And, I'm anxious to sit back and kind of watch and just let him do his thing and let somebody else reap the benefits of, how he plays and everything he gives, and, just kind of traveling around at watching good basketball. And I'm very, very thankful and very fortunate to have that going for me. But to be honest with you, I really do believe that it's just the right time in general. We played 8 seniors this year, which obviously lends itself to a lot of young guys next year that have a lot of talent. But I think it's actually good for fresh ideas and somebody to come in and kind of jumpstart what we've already laid the foundation for.
Frees up a lot of time not having to coach. How are you going to fill that time? What else is going on?
I'm going to have the nicest lawn in Starr County.
No, you won't.
I can tell you that.
No, you will not.
Oh, yeah.
You don't even know the first thing about mowing a lawn.
I let JT, call out my guns to be in second rate to him, but my lawn I'm not willing to give into. So, so I actually do a construction company as well.
Nice.
I do decks and fence and things like that.
Cool.
So I'll be working doing that type of thing. My daughter's going to grad school at Walsh, so I'm going to try to help her through that a little bit. And then overall, just maybe getting back to doing some of the things that you kind of put aside when you spend so much time in the gym, and trying to help some kids when I can. Obviously, wish this can happen, will be there as well. And hopefully I can be a little bit more involved as a wish granter with them.
Here's something else that goes through my mind. After what we just saw over the weekend in the NFL draft, the son of a coach, and whether or not this is true or not, maybe some coaches are looking over their shoulder saying, hey, man, Shador's dad might be eyeing this job in the future or something like that. There's got to be a fine line, in my mind anyway, as the father of a son that played the sport for me. Now, moving forward, going into Ashland and everything else, how do you manage that fine line between being a fan and being a coach?
Yeah, I think it's something I've gotten really good at the last couple of years, to be frank with you, because it was a point where I had to start separating it for my son's sake, because, I'm a guy that wants to fix things. And when I see something that I feel like I can fix, it's constant, and it's what I think makes me good at what I do, but it also can be a detriment to relationships. And I've gotten really good at kind of letting Bo figure things out. And I think he's done a really nice job of then picking up the, asking questions and kind of, relying on other people and not trying to do everything himself. So it is a fine line. It's very, very difficult to manage those two things because, of course, every parent wants what's best for their kid. And it's also given me a better perspective on parents sometimes because now I am that parent. So I get where they come from at times of, wanting what's best for your kid. And it doesn't always come out the best way, but it's always in love.
Tom Siegfried, former head coach at Louisville. How's that sound, Coach? Right?
Weird. It sounds
really
really weird. Yes, after 18 years, my son was just born when I got hired. So it's been a long time since I've heard, not head coach and something else with it, but it's okay.
Yeah, but now you just say state champion Tom Siegfried. That has a nice ring to it to make up for it, right?
Well, Kenny, I did what you're the first person that told me when I signed that program down in Dayton. You said you got to sign your name like this from now on. And ever since then, my resignation letter, if you look under my name, it actually says state champion. So I said, well, Kenny told me I have to do this, so I'm going to do it. And I've signed balls, I've signed pictures, I've signed shirts, and every single one of them says state champ on it. So I followed your advice, but I'll be honest with you, it feels good to write that because it's still, I don't know, however long now, and it still feels kind of surreal, even being over a month that we actually pulled it off.
You know what else is interesting, too? You mentioned earlier Rich Venuto. Rich Venuto, I believe, last year was inducted into the Ohio High School Athletic Association Hall of Fame. You win a basketball title in Louisville, and it's not long between now and whatever Hall of Fames they've got. You're going to be a member of that hall, too.
Oh, man, that would be another dream because I see guys that get inducted into that, and to be quite honest with you, that's the elite of the elite. And Rich Venuto is the elite. He's the guy that hired me at Louisville. He's the guy that mentored me. He's the person that when I had tough losses would, come out in the morning at 6:30 in the morning and talk to me. And you talk about a man that is just class. And I owe a lot of what I am to him. I was an assistant actually for a couple years when I started under Matt Miglish, and he pulled me in his office and said he wanted me to be the head JV coach just so I could get some experience as a head coach. He said, I really think that someday you'll be a pretty good head coach if you get some experience.
That's awesome.
That's a 25-year-old kid at that time he's saying this to, and he believed in me. I never wanted to let him down, and obviously our paths have gone different ways, and he's done great things at Lake, and I can't be more thankful for people like him and Paulie Doyle and some of those original people that really gave me my start.
That's amazing, too, because as you just mentioned, now that he's at Lake, you never truly retire. We went to go do a football game there, Kenny, and a guy's taking tickets, and I'm like, where do I know you from? And he's like, we started talking, and it goes back and forth. And he said, and I hadn't seen him in years. I'm Rich Venuto. I said, get the heck out of here. And he's still working at Lake High School. God bless him. He's done great things with, not just people like yourself being a coach. How about the stuff that he's done for these kids?
Oh, it's unbelievable. The OHSAA is so lucky to have him. And he's always a guy doing the right thing for kids. We used to have a saying when I first got hired here that Paulie Doyle, our principal, somebody would come in and say, can we do this? Can we do this? And all they would say, it was real simple. They'd say, is this good for kids? And if you could answer yes, then she or Rich or assistant principals, whatever, they'd say, okay, let's do it. And that's the motto they live by. And in my opinion, the glory years of Louisville started then and have carried on with that type of mentality. Is it good for kids? If so, let's do it.
Amen to that. Tom, we appreciate the time as always. A couple of things real quick. We are going to do the rebroadcast of the game here at some time in the not too distant future. Now you'll have all the free time to come join us for that. And, we're always looking for that, co-host whenever JT's on vacation or I'm on vacation. So have your calendar open for that as well. All right.
Yeah, I would love that. That would be great to come in the studio and do that. And then also, when I come in and do that rebroadcast, we have those shirts ready to go for you too. So I'm just waiting to come on in. I got your black championship shirts for you to bring in, and then we can reminisce about that day and about my third quarters. And I never knew that Kenny was a Notre Dame and could actually tell the future, but he was pretty good at that every time he talked to me.
Coach, too bad I couldn't have bet on one of my apps on your third quarters. I'd be retired by now.
We all would be. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on everything that you've achieved there, not just the state championship, but building that program, monitoring it for 18 years, being the head man of that, stepping aside on your terms. God bless you for that, and continued success in everything that you do, and thanks for always making time for us.
All right, my brother. I appreciate you, and thank you, JT, for all you do for Wishes as well.
See you soon.